Hello, I'd like to start a new tradition for at the beginning of every month. I will try to discuss the news and the roadmap from PrimeTech. So there's a lot of things going on our side, so I have to write them down to my Prime notebook with my Prime pen. So let's begin with Prime Faces. Version 11 is out. As promised, we have started 6-month release cycle. So every 6 months we will do a new major release. And thanks to the contributors and the PrimeTech team, we have managed to release the first release candidate of Prime Faces 11. There are a couple of new stuff. So we have deprecated some of the some older stuff, removed some deprecated APIs. And there's a new component, Galeria, that we ported from the Prime.js libraries, and also Carousel as well. These two components have been modernized. They've already existed in the previous versions, but they're now much more modern and responsive. Speed dial is a new version. It's a little button. When you click on it, some extra options to pop out in different directions. There's a new JPA data model, so that's tightly integrated with the JPA as well. There's a new Selenium test suite that we call Prime Selenium, and I think it's over 300 enhancements in total. So I'd like to thank the open source contributors of the Prime Faces and our team as well. Let's move on to the PrimeNG, our popular Angular UI component library. There's a new Tailwind theme, so I personally created that. There's a lot of people using Tailwind with PrimeNG, and the inspiration is from the Tailwind UI, where because Tailwind is a CSS library, right? So we had to get some inspiration from some UI elements, and that we took from Tailwind UI. I used the buttons and inputs, the forms and general tables, and created a Tailwind, and also the color palette as well. I've used that, and it looks good. I mean, it's free and totally open source. That's also available for Prime React and PrimeView as well. So check it out. Check that Tailwind theme. We also have scrollable tabs that has been requested a lot of time. So when you have a lot of tabs, now if you set scrollable to true in the tab view, you will get scrollable tabs with little buttons on the left and on the right. Image preview is a fun component that I've created. So it's a simple image, but when you click on it, it pops out and you can zoom in, zoom out, rotate left and rotate right as well. So in the future versions, we also plan to pan in, pan out, and other features as well. But if you have like more than one component, more than one image, I would definitely suggest taking a look at the Galeria component. So the PrimeNG, we will also remastered Verona. Verona was a popular template, but now but it's a bit older. So we have just applied a facelift, which we call a remaster, and the remastered version of Verona is coming out next week, hopefully. So that's it for PrimeNG, and now let's move on to Prime React. The version 6.0 for PrimeNG, the latest version we have done is, the version that you can find these features is version 12.2. So the Prime React is the version 6.6 is out. There's a new, of course, just like PrimeNG, we have the scrollable tabs, the image preview. Also, we have a new free admin template called Sakai. I'm a huge Ghost of Tsushima fan, and then I was playing Ghost of Tsushima, and I was there's the lead character Jin Sakai. So I named it. I designed the template and I named it Sakai. So greetings to the Ghost of Tsushima. So it's free and open source. It's a nice looking template. It replaced Sigma, which was our previous free template. And also one of the best sellers in the Prime store, it's a premium template called Atlantis, is also ported to Prime React. As I mentioned, Scrollable Tabs is available, image preview is available as well, and also the Tailwind theme is also ported to Prime React. And the future version, now 6.6 is out, the next version will be version 7, and PrimeReact doesn't have the latest enhancements of the table. So for PrimeView and PrimeNG, and PrimeFace will also have it in the future version, but PrimeNG and PrimeView table has the new scrollable data table, where we use the one table with position sticky, but in the PrimeReact, we are using multiple tables, and aligning them is kind of pain. And the table has been modernized. Also, PrimeNG and PrimeView has the latest advanced filtering, where you can have, various kinds of filtering capabilities in your table. And PrimeReact doesn't have it yet. So right now, as you're watching in this video, our team is working on porting these two major enhancements to PrimeReact data table. PrimeView. PrimeView is also getting more popular these days. The download numbers are increasing, so thanks for View ecosystem for picking it up. Image preview is ported to PrimeView. Scrollable tabs is ported. We have a new CDN build that makes it easier to use in browser with script tags. And right now our team is documenting every component and providing code sandbox samples on how to use them with script tags. No modules, just the browser. Sakai admin template is ported to PrimeView as well. And also Atlantis is also available for PrimeView. Kebab case, have yet some problems with the kebab case, for especially the View 3 version has removed the $children property from the components. So for components like data table or tab view, we need to access our children. In case of data table, it is column, and for tab view, it's tab panel. So we have to access the components and render them ourselves. Same goes for every other library. But since the View 3 has removed $children, we had to access the virtual nodes, vnodes, but in that case, we have lost the capability of kebab case, which View does for you, it transforms it for you. So we have added kebab, we restored, let's say, the capability of using kebab case, so you can use camel case and kebab case whenever you want, and documentation has been updated. So the Tailwind theme is also available for PrimeView as well. Okay, some general news. We have started a new project called Prime Blazor. So right now we have four UI component libraries, and the fifth one will be Blazor. I've decided on Blazor because we have never done something for .NET, and that seems the next logical move. The UI component vendors usually, what I see, they have a solution for .NET, whether it's ASP.NET, Web Forms, MVC, or Blazor. So Blazor is an interesting framework. It's a fresh take on web development that you use C#, whether on the server or on the browser with WebAssembly, so that you don't need to write JavaScript or TypeScript. You can use C#. And as the thing with JSF, you can use your same domain, since they are written in the same environment, like all the way from the UI to your backend, it goes. There's no need for transformation and things like that. I really like it. My C# skills were a little bit rusty, but now I'm picking it up. I've already done 15 components, and let's say by the end of probably before Christmas, we will release the first version with 30 components. I really like it. We have also looked at Svelte, some other frameworks, but the Blazor was the most interesting for us, because Svelte was also, again, the same thing, same mode, but Blazor was really excited us. So before investing years of development and investment, we should be excited, right? Prime blocks is really going well. We currently have more than 150 blocks. If you haven't heard of Prime blocks, it's ready to use, copy paste ready UI blocks, small chunks of UI that you can copy and paste to your application, and they will just work. Since there's no custom CSS somewhere, no modules, nothing, just copy and paste text. So we had created, as you know, PrimeFlex CSS utility library. And now the Prime blocks is the version 2 is being worked on. The reason why I'm not doing a lot of videos these days is because Prime blocks version 2. It's like we will introduce 100 new blocks. I mean, the Figma designs look spectacular, and I'm having really fun implementing them as well. So stay tuned. In 2 weeks, it will come out for PrimeNG first, and our team will port it to other Prime libraries as well. Prime Faces, Prime React, and PrimeView. And we will begin, we will just slow down on features because I think we have a lot of features for the components, and now focus on one thing and one thing only, and that's accessibility. So we have already done a lot of work on accessibility and Section 508 support and things, but I mean, we have decided to, slow down on features and just fully focus on accessibility. To do that, we will just start with probably, we have chosen PrimeRec as a proof of concept. So every component will have a dedicated accessibility section. That section will document which keys are supported and which, the area attributes, accessible rich internet applications attributes. So we will also document them as well. Which attributes are provided, which roles are provided. And also we will pick some popular audit tools and post the accessibility scores for each component, and each component will have a dedicated work on this. So it will not happen overnight, but that will be our sole focus starting from like in 2 or 3 weeks time. We have a dedicated engineer, and he's also the CTO of PrimeTech. He will be working on this solely for probably in Q1 in 2022, next year. We will release the fully our new version of a library that will be PrimeReact, and that will be, once that work is there, it will be ported to other Prime libraries. Porting is easy, but creating which attributes to use, the specifications, it will take some time to read them and apply them. But that doesn't mean that Prime libraries are accessible. That we believe we can do better on this part. Okay, that's it for this one, and hopefully that's a lot of, there's a lot of information to consume. But we are working a lot on improving Prime libraries, accessibility features. We try to maintain them with periodic releases, like every 2 weeks for bug fixes, small enhancements, and major enhancements time to time. But that will be our roadmap. The new templates, Prime blocks updates, accessibility, and so on. Okay, thank you for joining, and see you on the next video. Thank you.